right. So today we're discussing letter number 8, right? Yeah, we're in letter number 8.
Letter number 8. Letter number 8. Letter number 8.
So we'll say it now at the beginning of the episode. If you haven't heard the letter in With Love CEO, go listen to it right now. Stop this video right now. And go listen to the letter, because that is what we're going to be talking about today. Letter number 8, staying awake. Again, we're talking about staying awake in the waiting. You're supposed to say.
I'm sorry.
You know what? I don't want to do this.
Talking about staying awake and they're both yawning.
And then I'm like,
Yeah, like mad. Oh,
because you're over here mocking me with your hands. There she is. You guys just saw that. You guys just witnessed
I was
the
helping
bully.
you.
Well, where was your help when
I don't know what
was
happened there. I disconnected.
All you had to say was waiting.
Waiting. All right. Sorry.
Staying awake in the waiting.
Okay, we could do it again.
Well, no, I lost my mojo,
Oh, my
or
bad.
whatever you call it. Okay, all right. We're in letter number 8, staying awake in the waiting. All right, we were discussing in the last letter about watching and praying. And now we're getting into staying awake in the waiting. In the letter, you go over the verse in, I always have trouble pronouncing this, Habakkuk. Habakkuk 2:3. Okay. Habakkuk 2:3. Though the vision lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. So when I was reading the verse, I actually had not read that verse before.
That was the first time?
Yeah, that was the first time I read that verse.
How did it make you feel reading it?
It was deep. Like when I read it, I was like, huh. I was like, when I have not read a lot of verses in the Bible that say the word vision, at least for me, right? Because I'm still learning a lot about the Bible. I'm sure that word is repeatedly probably mentioned in the Bible a lot of times. But as for me, I have not read a lot of verses in the Bible that say the word vision. And I like how in this verse, it literally it's an instruction. Like this is you know how there's certain verses in the Bible that are promises that God leaves us, right? This verse is a set instruction that God is telling us, that God is instructing us to do. And it literally gives us, as short as the sentence is, it literally gives us the image of how as humans, we have a lot of visions that we like to move towards. But sometimes those visions, they linger, right? They're not really going anywhere. And he's telling us what to do when that happens. We have to wait for it. We can't move forward with it if he hasn't instructed us to move forward in it. He's telling us to wait. And I liked how this is the verse that you use for this letter, because that's specifically what you're talking about in the letter, to wait. And then after that, it says it will certainly come and will not delay. So he gives us a set of instructions, but then he also gives us a sense of hope of, hey, even though the vision right now is lingering, even though the vision right now, you have to wait for it. You have to be in a moment where it's not coming yet, but then he comes and he reminds us and he tells us, as beautiful as he is, it will come. It will come and it will not be delayed. Because what we often think when we're waiting for something, it's like you mentioned in the letter, that it's delayed, that it's never going to come, that it's useless to just sit there and just wait on it, because what's the point? It's not coming, God. Like, where is it? But he's literally clarifying to us here, but it will come and it will not be delayed, because nothing that comes through God's timing, nothing that happens in his timing is delayed.
It's delayed.
It comes in the perfect timing. In the perfect time. So that was the first thing that like stood out to me. And as I read your letter, this letter actually was very impactful for me, because when you send me the letters, I read them first, right? Obviously, I have to do a response because we sit here and we talk about it. But a lot of the letters have touched me, and I'm sure you feel that too as you're writing them. Like they're supposed to touch your spirit first before you can even speak and let others kind of reflect on what you felt. And this letter, I felt like it was perfect for the season that I'm in. And I sat back and I started reflecting on where I am, you know, and obviously I don't have to sit here and like go into details about the life that I'm, you know, what I'm going through in this season of my life. But I can sit here and testify that for me, 2026 has been, and obviously continues to be, because we're only halfway there, a year of waiting for me. A year of trusting, a year of holding on, a year of sitting still, a year of staying quiet, a year of you're not taking control of certain things. You're sitting down and you're letting me take control of things. And when I started to sit back and reflect on that in my life, I was thinking, wow, you know, this is honestly the hardest season that I've been in my life. And then I also started thinking, I was like, but how can that be? Because at one point in my life, when I lost my sister, I thought that was the hardest season that I went through. Then I became a young mom, and I thought that was the hardest season that I went through. And then, you know, in the process of all of those things, you go through I went through other things in my life that at that moment in time, I thought this is the hardest thing that I've been through. But in this season of my life, people might view it, or even I might view it myself, and I look back sometimes and I'm like, Melanie, but you've been through worse things. But why is it that this is the hardest season that I'm in? A season of waiting. And it's because we have this, what's the word? We're used to wanting to control everything that happens in our life. Or we like knowing what's going to happen in our life, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Because sometimes you know that something bad is coming. For example, if you know, what I went through, which is the example that I gave right now, I lost my sister. You know, it's something that happened, but at least I know what I was facing. When you're in a season of waiting, you don't really know what's going to happen. You're kind of just sitting there and you're like, yeah, God, that's it. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what the next step is. I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know if there's going to be a good outcome, if there's going to be a bad outcome. I don't know what I'm losing. I don't know what I'm gaining. I simply don't know. You don't know anything when you're in a season of waiting. And that is the hardest part of this season. The not knowing.
They're just waiting.
They're just waiting. As simple as it sounds, it is the hardest season that you could be in, for the simple fact that you don't know what's happening next. And that really caught me by surprise, because I always thought that going through hardships in life was the hardest thing, but it's not.
It's waiting.
It's surrendering and waiting on God. Because humanely, you're just there.
No, you just want to control everything.
You just want to control everything. You just want to like...
And the waiting room doesn't allow that.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't allow you to do that, because if you do, you feel it automatically. You automatically feel that conviction of, yeah, no, just stop. Just let it go. So when you're in the process of waiting, in this season that I'm in waiting, even though it has been the hardest, I would say that out of everything that has shaped me in my life into the woman that I am today, this season is what truly has allowed me to grow into the woman that I am today.
Okay. I'm going to get into this.
Okay, get into it.
You ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
We need to read this verse again.
Okay, read it again.
We read it again slowly, guys.
Okay.
Though the vision lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come. It would not delay. For those who love words, love phrases, sentences, this has to tickle you. Because it tickled me. Why? It says it lingers, and then it says it won't delay. It says it lingers, but then it says it's not going to delay. There's tension in those two phrases right there. And that's exactly what waiting feels like. Because this verse is giving you two views. From our perspective, it feels like something is taking too long. But from God's perspective, nothing is late. Okay? Now, let's get into the background of this verse. Habakkuk was a prophet living in a season of confusion. What season we're in now? There's a lot of confusion happening, okay? He looked around and he saw injustice, corruption, violence, and a spiritual decline. And he asked the Lord in this verse, Lord, where are you? Why aren't you doing something? Isn't that most of us? We're saying right now. And God answered Habakkuk and told him in a vision what was coming. That there's a plan and a day of justice is coming. But then God says, though the vision lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and it will not delay. I hear that and I'm confused. How long can this linger and not be delayed? Okay, now, because God is speaking from his perspective, not ours, what does the word linger mean? The Hebrew idea here and what the word linger is in this sentence is, it may seem slow to you, it might appear late, it might feel like nothing is happening, but appearance and reality are not the same thing. Okay? The vision is moving towards the appointed fulfillment. In other words, God's promise is still advancing even when you cannot see the movement. It's going to happen. Okay? Now, let's bring it now to the coming of Jesus, because this is what we're talking about, right? Okay. This is where this verse becomes deeply relevant. For over 2,000 years, believers have heard that Jesus is coming. We said it in our last letter, and we're going to say it again. Generation after generation have heard that, and we're still waiting for Jesus coming. And somehow, some people are wondering, did I misunderstand this? Is this still going to happen? Why is this taking so long? Those questions are not new. It happens in every single generation. The early church asked them, Peter addressed them, and Habakkuk spoke into them, okay? We often think that it's not going to happen anymore. But, it's not going to happen. We said it. I can think about when I was a little child and then seeing the grandmothers of the church. And now we're headed in that direction. And it's like, I still
don't see it.
This is not happening. But scripture presents the possibility that there is something that's going to happen. Why? All right. There's a difference between delay and preparation. And it gets into the part you were talking about, the waiting room. Now we have to go back to the verse again. Okay? The verse says, though the vision lingers, wait for it. Okay? We know that this is God's view. God's view of giving direction. And he says, what does he say? Wait for it. So, between these verses, he's giving you a space to prepare. When someone tells you, Melanie, to wait, what is your usual answer? Well, what do I do in the meantime? While I'm waiting, what do I do in the meantime? Depending on the situation, okay? we say we need to prepare, but in this case, because if you read the verse before, right, verse 3, it says the vision is for the future time. It describes the end and it will be fulfilled. So we know what we need to be preparing for, okay? The verse that follows is, it will certainly come and will not delay. The previous verse tells us that there's something that's going to happen in the future. The other verse that tells you, though the vision lingers, wait for it. So it's telling you exactly the instructions of what you need to be preparing for, okay? So God is not delaying the promise. He's making sure that you're preparing for it, okay? Because the purpose of waiting isn't simply to pass time. The waiting room is not simply to pass time. The waiting room is to ask God, what am I waiting for? What am I preparing for while I'm waiting? Do you need to work in my character? Do you need to work in my heart? Do you need to work in my mind? Do you need to work in my spirit? The waiting room, or the preparation room, it is the room for transformation, okay? Now, many Christians spend time asking, when will Jesus come? That's what we ask, okay? But the Bible spends more time asking, what kind of people are we becoming while we wait?
Mm-hmm.
Again, because waiting, you guys, is supposed to shape your character, your faithfulness to God, your endurance on this path, the love that you have for one another, the devotion that you have for God. So the waiting becomes part of the preparation. That's why you're in the waiting room. You're preparing yourself. You know what it is, Melanie? I think we just want everything really fast.
Yeah.
We don't want to prepare. We don't want to wait. We don't want to suffer.
Yeah.
We just can we please get this going?
Yeah. Well, this is an example that God brought to my mind while I was reading it. And while I was writing my notes, right? When we're in college, most of us immediately focus on the end result, right? We think about getting the diploma, about our future, about having the job, or I'm going to have a career. I have something to look forward to. I'm going to start earning money, or just a simple idea of graduating and I'm done. I did it, right? That's most of the thoughts that start coming into our head as soon as we go into, and we could use so many examples for this, but this is the example that just came to my mind while I was reading the letter. But we often fail to realize that the process of going to college, all those years that you're in college, which is usually 4 years, it's a season of waiting, right? You're preparing for what's going to happen at the end. At the time it may feel like it's taking forever. You may become frustrated because you can't simply just get the diploma. They can't just give it to you, right? The moment that you go and you say, I'm enrolling into college, I'm registering for my classes, you can't just take that one semester and then the next one they give you the diploma. You have to study, you have to work, you have to sacrifice, you have to persevere, because let me tell you, college isn't easy. You have to wait for what you're actually looking forward to at the end of those 4 years, which is that big ceremony that you have in graduation, or the simple paper that you get at the end. But you don't realize what happens to you during that process that you're in college. During that process, you grow, you learn, you evolve, you mature, you gain experiences, you meet new people, you network. You do everything that you have to do in the process that you are in college. So while you're so focused on the destination, right? The process is quietly transforming you into someone different. You were awake and working while waiting for the destination. So a lot of people don't realize how much they've changed until they actually graduate, because that's what happened with me. I started looking back when you're in that moment and you're sitting on that chair and you see everyone around you and you're getting ready to flip the thing and throw the cap, and you're just walking on the stage. And there comes a moment, because it happened to me and I know I'm not the only one, that you sit down and you're like, wow, I did it. 4 years for me, it was 5 years. But wow, 4 years have passed and I did it. But then you start thinking as well, I am not the same person that I was when I first registered for classes. You don't realize how quickly time has passed, but it did. And you realize that the waiting wasn't wasted. The waiting was part of the preparation. So now there's a lot of people that never make it to graduation. Why is that? It's not because they're incapable. It's not because they're not smart, because we are all smart. But because the process becomes too difficult. The waiting becomes too long. The sacrifices become too heavy. I don't want to study. I don't want to do this work. I don't want to write this essay. I don't want to do this research paper. That textbook looks too huge for me. I don't want to do that. Desperation begins to whisper that there must be a faster route.
An easier way.
And a lot of people take it. So they look for an alternative path, right? That leads them to the same result, but with less waiting, quicker, right? And sometimes that works, but many times, and I'm telling you from experience working in higher education, they find themselves wishing that they had stayed the course, which is why you see a lot of older people coming back to college and saying, I want to go back. I want to get my diploma. I want to go back. I have a lot to learn. I want to go back. I'm not where I want to be. This is not where I wanted my career to go. I should have stayed in school. So a lot of people return to school. Others simply look back and they wonder what it could have been. However, those who remain faithful to the process eventually receive the reward that comes with completing it. And that's exactly what it looks like when God has us in a season of waiting. He's not withholding anything from us. Waiting is God's way of preparing us for it. He's forming things within us that are necessary for the next season that He's leading us into. So when we look at it spiritually, and I like that you mentioned about the waiting for the return of Christ, because I mentioned that here as well. He's preparing His people because there's something that He desires out of all of us when He comes. And the word says it. He desires a bride who is ready, mature, and fully surrendered to Him. So whether you look at it from the secular example that I just gave, or you look at it from the spiritual one, the principle is still the same. God cannot give you everything that you're asking for before you're ready to carry it. And Jesus cannot come back if we're not ready for it.
That's good. Because I was about to enter in through there. And you just gave it to me. So the question is why Jesus hasn't returned yet. And this is the answer. And I actually cried when I read this and I wrote it down. In 2 Peter 3:9, he writes, the Lord is not slow in keeping His promises. He's patient. Now think about that. The reason the promise seems delayed is not because God forgot, not because He changed His mind or He's absent. It's because His heart is still reaching people. Every day that passes is another day someone hears the gospel, someone returns, someone repents, someone encountered His love. The waiting time is His mercy. He truly doesn't want to lose anybody. So He keeps His promise, but He is patient with us. So maybe the deepest question of Habakkuk 2:3 isn't when will the vision come? Maybe is, will I remain faithful while it lingers? And the next question is, are you still preparing for eternity? It seems hard. It sounds hard. It's only difficult when we get overwhelmed in this world. But the waiting room, the preparation room, is about us. surrendering to him. And it's hard because we are people who love to control everything. And I don't understand why. Because I know God wrote a beautiful book for us. Even in the pages that are dark and sad and anxiety, I know that at the end of that page, it's going to say the word amen. Because I know that I have to trust in what's written in those pages, that I'm going to fulfill it because the author who wrote it trusted in me. So how can I not trust in him and what he has for me? Why? Why can't we surrender to him? Why everything has to be so difficult? We are very difficult people, and still with all of that, he doesn't delay his promises. He is still patient. Even when we delay our own stuff. Because we do that. We delay our own promises, our own prophecies, because we put ourselves, like if we are the ones that can control everything. The longer the waiting becomes, the more important it is to remember that Jesus is not merely coming for a prepared calendar, a prepared church service, or a prepared theology. He is coming for prepared people. And preparation happens in the waiting. So enter that waiting room. I'm sure you probably got out of it because you're like tired. But today we ask you to go back into it. And trust. Just sit there. And I'm going to wait. And I'm not moving until you give me the next set of instructions. Let me tell you something. I was in that season. I say was because I passed it already. But sitting there and waiting, now my thing started in January. Sitting there and waiting to see what was going to happen next, I could feel the earthquake around me happening. But because I surrendered, Melanie, and I truly trusted in God, my house didn't fall down. I'm still here. So now, my waiting season has turned into like, let's put everything in action that we talked about in that room. And so I'm going to say about that.
That's good. That's good. I was personal about it too. Like I said at the beginning, when I started reading the letter and I started going back to the season that I'm in as well. And I was like, Lord, like, wow, like 4 months ago at the beginning of the year as well, I was really in it. But where everything was like, like you could say falling apart. But I also remained. I didn't allow myself to fall. Not the way that I would have. Probably 3 years ago. At least, I sat there and I said, God, I can't do this anymore. And I wrote here something and it's a phrase that would always stick with me. I saw it once. And when you surrender to God, when you tell him those words of, I can't do this anymore, I give up, I'm tired, I can't take control of things anymore because, I'm not really good at it. I'm not really good at taking control of my life. And you give up and you surrender like fully, like you fully surrender to him. It's God's way of now coming to you and saying, good, because now I can start. When we are taking control of our lives, it's the opposite. It's like God is waiting.
Mm-hmm.
God is the one waiting for us to like,
line up.
Like, can they stop? Can they just like surrender? Can they just give up? Can they just stop taking control of things? Can they just realize and just simply stop, right? He's waiting for us while we are over here moving and just, wanting to control everything. And then when we turn it around and we say, God, that's it. I surrender. And he sees that your heart is fully surrendered, because one thing is saying it with your lips. Another is God looking at your heart and looking at a true surrendered heart. And that's when he comes in and he says, okay, now I can start doing what I've been wanting to do this whole time. And now I can move. Now I can work. So in the season of waiting, that it might look like life is just going at you in many different directions. You know, life keeps going, right? We could be in a season of waiting and your life is still going. You know, days are still passing by, the hours are still passing by. It doesn't mean that because you're in the waiting, life stops. Like, no. Life keeps going. And that's what becomes hard, because you look at it and you're like, well, life is still going, God, and here I am. I don't know what to do next. But sometimes God just wants you to stand up and keep going, keep walking, but let him take control of things. Let him carry what you have been carrying. Let him handle the situations you have been trying to handle on your own. Let him take control of the decisions that you have been trying to make on your own. Let him be in control of your life, even as you move. Because it doesn't necessarily mean that because you're waiting, you sit still and you're like, okay, I'm not doing anything. I'm just gonna know. He requires you to move as well, but you're moving differently. You're not moving on your own anymore. You're moving with him. And when you move with him, God is not so concerned about the miracles and the blessings that he's gonna give you. And he doesn't want you to be concerned about that either, because just like the verse says, it's gonna come. They won't delay. It's gonna happen. What he's more concerned about is who you're becoming while you're in that process, while you're being, while you're waiting. So
I'm gonna share something about this verse. When I first read it, this is how I imagined it, right? I imagined myself in a white box, right? In a white box. And the verse itself, though the vision lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come. It will not delay. And I felt myself sitting on the floor and just the words just lingering in the air. But then it just went poof. And then I saw all the prophecies that the Lord had placed over my life, just like floating in the air. Like, it's there, mamas. It's there for you. Look at them. Like, you want to grab them and just put them into action, but you can't do that yet. We can't do that yet. You have to prepare before I let them go. But I want you to understand that the prophecies are there. So I want to share that with you so you can imagine yourself, if you want, in a box and just that the word in the waiting room. The waiting room box, and that the prophecies are there, lingering in the air, and you're looking at them like, yeah, that's what God said about me. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna get, and just smiling and feeling happy about it because you know that it's going to happen. And then you just gotta ask for, the instructions. What do I do? Well, I'm waiting, and that's it. I say that's it, right? But
it's not as easy as it. There's more to that.
From everybody that's around us, it's kind of difficult, for people to like wait, So I'm the one who encourages everyone, like, come on, he said it already. That means it's gonna happen. You just have to move in action, And I know that some of my friends get tired of me saying that, but that's the faith that I have, that if he gave me a word, I believe it, and I'm gonna move on it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing half the time, but I do know who created me. Right. So,
well, you know who spoke over you.
That's it.
And it's just about knowing that even though you're waiting, God is working. That's it.
Yes.
Because he never stops working in your favor. If anything, you're the one that delays it. If anything, you're the one that stops it. Yeah. So just wait. And
wait for your promise, okay? But wait for Jesus coming, because this is what this was about.
That's right.
Jesus coming. So wait for his return. And while you're waiting for his return, just prepare in between. And,
That's right.
and that's it.
That's it. Staying awake in the waiting.
Anyways, thank you for watching us in this episode. Don't forget again to subscribe to all of our channels. Let's repeat them again because I love repeating them.
That's
the Pause
right.
Show, Nana Nooney with Love Seal, and the new one,
The
the Pause
Pause
Rooms. So thank you again, you guys. See you in the next one.
Next letter. Mm.